Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Welcome everybody to another edition of the Narrative Podcast, and I'm your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome all my narrators. Welcome anybody new that may be tuning in right now to the Narrative Podcast. Narrative Podcast is the home of original people positivity and original people reciprocity. All right, so first of all, welcome all my narrators. Happy hump day to everybody. It's Wednesday today, Wednesday evening. So all my narrators, they already know the drill. They already know what my platform is about. But I'm going to go give a brief synopsis of what I do here for anybody that's new, just now tuning in or getting with the program or just on a random scroll. Well, first of all, I want to tell you it's not random. You're listening to me. You could be listening to anything you want to this evening, but you're rocking with me, Halsey Allen, on the Narrative Podcast. All right, so let's start at the top. Narrative Podcast. What is it? What is it? And what is it about? So let's start with the name. The narrative. I was inspired to start this podcast basically because I personally believe the media weaves false narratives to push agendas about original people and original culture. So they basically portray us in a negative light. They do this intentionally. They do it to sell news and to make us appear to be something that we are not. So basically on my platform, what I want to do is create a platform where, I'm highlighting and showcasing us at our best instead of our worst. Because the media just basically misrepresents facts about our people and our culture. So I want to, focus the lens on all the positive things we do, all the great things about us instead of always being bombarded with negativity, with negative stereotypes about our people, our culture, and nuances within our culture. My tagline is the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. How do I destroy the negative stereotypes? I provide positive frames of reference. And that's what I'm doing this evening on my live on the Narrative Podcast. I'm going to provide some positive frames of reference about original people and original culture. And just deliver a brief commentary on current events, things I feel that I need to speak on. And then, but before I do that, I'll give a brief rundown of my normal format for new listeners. This is a live edition. So on my live editions, basically what I do is, share some articles and then provide some commentary on current events or just anything I have on my mind. So it'll be a little cross between the two this evening. But before that, I go down over my format for a normal broadcast day for my new listeners. But before I dive into the content, I feel I grazed over the original part because I know the new listeners are like, well, why does he keep saying original? What is original? What does he mean by original? So I just recently had an epiphany about the word black, and in my findings, I noticed something. When I went in the dictionary and looked at the word black, um, there was all kinds of negative connotations surrounding it and how they have it in the dictionary. Any version of the dictionary you get, whether it's the Mediterranean or, the Oxford dictionary, pretty much any dictionary, even if you pull your phone out and Google the definition of the word black, you will see all these, negative nouns, pronouns, adjectives, um, describing the word black. But before they get to all that negativity, what they'll first do, they'll usually say in any dictionary you get, one who is indigenous to Africa or having African descent. And then they'll go down the list of all these, negative things about the word black, such as, gloomy, depressed, dirty, not of God, and the list goes on. So on my platform, I believe in the power of words, and I've made the personal decision to kind of excommunicate the word black out of my vocabulary. So it's not a self-hate thing, it's actually a self-awareness thing. We did not, being original people, we did not refer to ourselves as black in early civilization. That was just a moniker given it to us by people that did not look like us. And, if you look at our people as a whole, all these negative words in this dictionary has manifest physically in our people's, living condition here in America, abroad, anywhere we're located on the planet, simply by saying black, referring to us as black. Now, get to the original part. Also in my findings, when I looked up the word original, there's almost like no negative connotation surrounding the word original. And I feel the word original is better befitting to describe our people versus black, because we were and are the original man and woman of this planet. There's nowhere on this earth that we haven't originally existed. And everywhere we existed, we left behind a legacy of enlightenment. We mothered and fathered civilization. We taught people how to survive, how to read. We invented pretty much every modern day invention you can think of. Got accredited for like less than half of them, but the world would not be the world as it is now without us. So, when you think about original, nothing really trumps the original. Like, look at Pepsi or Coke, classic Coke, and then new Coke and new Pepsi. Like, which version is better? The original version. The original version is always usually better. In any scenario you can think of, the original copy is usually the best. You want the original copy in, bills of sales when you're trying to dispute something in court. So, having said that, I think the word original is better suited to describe us as a people as opposed to black, and I will often refer to us as original people as often as possible. Now, some factors in which I probably wouldn't is like if, I'm reading an article and then the article says black man, I'm not going to insert original in that scenario and then just, certain other scenarios where I wouldn't say original when I'm describing something about us or our people. But I just want to clear that up, the original thing. And so having done that, and you pretty much get a gist of, where I'm going with my content, I'm going to dive into the content and then give you a brief rundown of my normal broadcast day and then dive into some commentary and then leave you to enjoy the rest of your evening. All right, here we go. Taking off, diving into the content. I got some really nice articles about original people that I would like to share with you. So, back at it. So, first article that I have for you this evening. Oh, wait, I'm not even on the right page of my notes. Well, we're live, people. We're live. My bad. Here we go. All right. First article, the headline reads, "Their father passed away but leaves black-owned battery." See, I told you I was going to say black if it was in the article. Black-owned batteries plus franchise to his kids. And the father's name is Victor Sr. He leaves behind a legacy to his children, Victor and Natanya, and who's the third child? And Joshua. Check 1, check 2. Okay, I'm still here. I had to do the quick check because it's just when I'm live, just sometimes I don't know why. It just kind of the platform I'm on is just little glitches here and there. But anyway, so he left it to his 3 children, Victor Jr., Joshua, and Natanya, and then his wife, his widowed wife, also runs the franchise, and her name is Audrey. So basically, how he even came across with the notion to buy the franchise, him and the wife was just, out and about, stopped at a Batteries Plus, and received some stellar customer service, and he was so blown away by the service he received. He wanted to, run one of his own as a full-time business. And mind you, he had no previous background or history of owning or operating anything. This is just something that resonated with him and inspired him to want to pursue ownership. And so, in about 2021, he and his wife ended up negotiating a 3-store deal with Batteries Plus. Now, after the deal was acquired, unfortunately, Victor passed away due to cancer. But his legacy lives on through his wife and his children, and they're now the proud owners and operators of the Battery Plus franchise in Huntington Station in New York City. So give a warm narrative round of applause for excuse me, the Lewis family. and Batteries and Plus franchise. And just to clarify why I'm sharing these articles again to the new listeners. I'm sharing these articles to provide positive frames of reference about original people and original culture. I just want, to put out the positive frames of reference, that we do positive things in our community. We impact our community and we take care of our own, we hire our own. And just basically show that we're the antithesis of all these, negative stereotypes. And I want the ultimate takeaway from my listening audience. That's why I call my listening audience my narrators. I believe we all have the power to change the narrative about how our people is is perceived simply by just watching what we post online, watching our content we post online. If we're always posting gang culture, drug culture, thought culture, you name it, all these negative stereotypes online, people are going to associate us with that. Because, some people that do not aren't native to America or, just don't live around any original people, and like that's all the frames of reference they have is television shows and music about us. They're going to have some jaded preconceived ideas about who we are as a people, and like I said, the frames of reference that's put out about us is pretty much all negative, and it's intentionally done, to sell news and to, keep a stranglehold on the wealth here in America and abroad. They want to never, let that wealth gap get narrow. They want to keep the wealth gap as wide as possible. They don't really want us to, rise up and take our rightful place in the world. So, they always want to, warp the minds of the people. All right, I didn't really get too far deep. I just really wanted to clarify my point and just let you know why I'm doing this and what I hope the ultimate takeaway, from this experience. I want you to, all my listeners, to know how important it is to share positive content online. What you share online basically is your carbon footprint, and it's basically a digital representation of you. So you definitely want to share stories about empowerment, share stories about leadership, share stories of strong family values, share stories of redemption, share stories of the community coming together, share stories about us peacefully cohabitating with one another and, maturely and gracefully agreeing to disagree without dragging each other all over the internet, all over, time spaces like time feeds, going back and forth on Twitter and just dragging each other online. So, we're kind of the only people that do that. We got to do better at disagreeing. Like we're the only people to air the dirty laundry and post receipts and all that. It's not no reason for it. If you disagree with somebody, you just disagree with them and just, have your disagreements civilly and then just push on. You don't have to call somebody out their name and threaten violence. That's not the true nature of who we are. We acting like somebody else right now. We acting out of our character. But I get more to that after I bring this to a close. So on to my next article. Article, the headline reads, Meet the Black Lawyer Who Refused to Cut His Locks just in order to make his colleagues feel better. And the brother's name is in question is Mercis Shute, Merushute. But he's 34. He lives in Nashville, Tennessee. The article didn't say what firm that he was interning at, but he basically just decided to grow his hair in '02. Locks. He said he just wanted to prove a point. People shouldn't be judged on their outward appearance, and their outward appearance shouldn't be reflective of their professional career. He's been disregarded from promotions because of it, and has been mistaken by judges as a client because of his choice to grow his locks. Now, this is an audio platform, but the brother he maintains his locks. They're manicured. They're not like frizzy, wild locks. You know what I mean? They're what's the word I'm searching for? They're kempt. You know what I mean? They're just, his locks are like nice and neat. He's edged up. He's faded up like nice. Is like ain't no too. His hairline ain't looking too wild. Again, this is the power of perception. Locks are a cultural identifier of our people, being original indigenous. This is how we connect to not only the continent in which most of us can trace our lineage back to, but also to connect with the earth. Because, your locks, your hair follicles in melanated people, they're basically like cosmic antennas. There's all kinds of, what's the word? Signals they pick up. They absorb sunlight just like your melanated skin, and you gain all kinds of intuitive properties with your locks. Because if you ever talk to somebody who has locks, the conversation is a little different because they're more intuitive, they're more in tune with the earth. So, long story short, don't cut your cosmic antennas. That's what locks are. They pick up them, heavenly vibrations. It was the Europeans that even made, locks, basically taking a jab at us. They came over there and they said, they start calling them dreadlocks. That hairstyle was dreadful. They put the dread in front of it. But I digress. I believe it's actually a law about that, where you can't, not promote people or not hire people because of locks, or their hairstyle choices. Believe it or not, sisters have not gotten jobs because of their weaves or their wigs, and It's culturally, ethically, and immoral, and it is like against the law. I don't know what the law is called right now, but we live. I got a little bit of time. See if I can punch it up. If not, I'm moving on to the next article. Okay, Senate Bill 188, ending hair discrimination, signed a petition today. What is hair discrimination law? It's called the Crown Act, which stands for Creating Respect and Open World of for Natural Hair. The law prohibits race-based hair discrimination, which is denial of employment and educational opportunities because of the hair texture or the protective hairstyles. So basically, I believe it was a story a while ago where a brother got a little young sister got expelled from school for having locks. A young brother got expelled from school in the Midwest for having cornrows, some French braids. They like kicked him out of school for French braids. Crazy. But again, it's your hair is a your cultural identity, and this is a way that they use to discriminate against. Because as long as it's nice and kept looking and maintained, they shouldn't have a problem with it. They also discriminate against some Orthodox Muslims for having, beards. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy, but yeah, the powers that be. That's definitely a way. That's just like a cheap shot. Another cheap shot to keep you out of employment and opportunities by discriminating against you because of your hairstyle. Like as long as you come into work clean cut, Kent, semi clean shaven, and no offensive body odors, then they shouldn't have a problem. Like crazy. All right, so on to the next article. Headline reads: Kevin Doe invented the AM FM transistor, a sound amplifier, a 3-channel mixer, a mic receiver by just garbage he collected. He was only 13 years old when he did this. He's now 15. He is West African, in the region of Sierra Leone, to be precise. Um, he's just extraordinary young man. He loves hip hop. He goes by the moniker DJ Focus, or like DJ Focus is what they call him on a radio station that he also, produced. Came up with, the radio station a system where it can pick up and project radio signals for the just the sole purpose of engagement. He wanted the children in his village to have the opportunity to use their voice over the airwaves to discuss and debate social issues. Currently, he is the youngest person to be admitted to MIT. And he's got his own YouTube channel. He got TED Talks. He's just doing a whole lot. So give it up for Mr. Kevin Doe. All right, moving right along. Yep, I think this is the last one. Yeah, this is the last article I have to share with you this evening. Headline reads, meet Kesha Wilson, HBCU grad who mentored FBI agents, law enforcement officers, and high-powered career women. She's also mentored the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, and she is a nuclear scientist, and her inventions help whatever her methodology helps police dismantle meth labs. Her technology she invented. So she is a motivational speaker as well. She has written several books. You can check out her story in full on Instagram at Design Her Queendom, and her website www.designherqueendom.com to find out her full story in full. And once again, her name is Kesha Wilson. I hope I'm saying that right. Kesha Wilson. All right, that's it for the articles, y'all. Okay, so here's the deal for anybody new listening, tuning in right now. This is a live edition of the Narrative Podcast, and I do these just randomly throughout the week whenever I have some free time. I try to let like 3 or 4 or 5 articles that really stand out to me. I just jot notes when I see something like really positive, and I pick a day to share it with the listening audience, all with the intent to inspire the listeners to share positive content. So I'm broadcasting live right now. For surefire way to never miss me when I'm live is to go to YouTube, probably like right now if you're listening. Subscribe to my user channel or viewer channel. I don't have one just exclusively for this podcast, but I broadcast directly to my viewer channel on YouTube, Halsey Allen. You can subscribe to Halsey Allen, click the notification bell when you will never miss me when I'm live on YouTube. And then it also broadcasts directly to my Twitter, Halsey Allen. So if you want to, Halsey Allen at I Stay Good on Twitter. So if you want to go over there and do that now to get the notifications when I'm broadcasting live, feel free to do that as well. But for my full broadcast day, it's every single weekend without fail, like every single weekend. And I'm about to go over the format, which you will have to look forward to should you decide to join me this weekend. All right. So first things off, I start off my podcast by providing the opportunity for original men and original women that own and operate their own business, or if they're selling a product or service for some free promotion. I do that. That's how I started off. And the reason why I do that is to, do my part in aiding, helping circulate the original people dollar in the original people community. Just doing my part to help our financial infrastructure. I'm doing that with the great anticipation that the people whose businesses that I'll be promoting hire their own, and also, do something for the community that they're rooted in. So I do that first. And again, you can just go to my the last episode to check out the details on how to get the free promotion. I believe it was what was the last episode? It was episode 154. So I'm broadcasting live right now. This would be episode 155 when I go share it back after I'm done broadcasting to all my other platforms. So yeah, I start off with that, and then my next section, getting ahead of myself. So my main thing is to try to be keep my platform time sensitive, because when I first started doing it, I didn't know what the heck I was doing when I started podcasting. Like my first five or six really wasn't even a podcast. It was like just rants. I was just talking and talking and talking. I had no idea what I was doing. I broke the content up into sections, and when I noticed I did that, my numbers started going up. Like people started actually listening. So, it's for that. I break them up into sections. Each section has a speaking points. This will also help me to, stay focused on a section and just not, hop all over the place with my points, because I want everything, the content I share with you guys, to be nice and concise and to the point, and just have a nice flow about them. Just basically to make my content digestible so it'll resonate with you and you have the incentive to tune in next time for another episode. So, now that you know that, my next section is my contest promotion. And in this section, what I'm doing is promoting a contest that I'm exclusively running for this podcast. I call it the Chew on This contest, excuse me. And what I'm doing is just giving you incentive to, if you've been supporting me, to keep supporting me. If you're new to my podcast, giving you some incentive to, listen to me. You get a free prize just by, participating with the contest. And the contest topic is share your most recent shopping while black experience. And so, if you hit up episode 154 right now, you'll have all the details on how to enter the contest. And again, the reason why I'm doing the contest is to basically, engage my listening audience participation, and, get feedback and, just address issues and just, have that interaction with my listeners. So I'm giving you the opportunity to, you know, get a prize just for listening to the content, basically. So again, the details, just hit up my last full broadcast, which was episode 154. Check that out to find out how to enter the Chew on This contest. I'm not going over the specific details here again because this is a live, so I want my lives to be even more brief than my full broadcast. I try to keep my full broadcast no longer than an hour. So my lives, I really want to try. My goal is to not exceed 45 minutes. That's my goal, but sometimes they go a little bit over an hour, but I try not to exceed over an hour. All right. So after that section, I go on to my highlight section. And in my highlight section, what I'm doing is I'm highlighting businesses owned and operated by original men and women. And again, the reason why I'm doing that is to provide positive frames of reference about original people and original culture. So there's nothing more positive than original people owning and operating their own business. Also, the criteria about the highlight section, they not only own their own business, they hire their own. Um, they pay into a nonprofit organization or have their own nonprofit organization, and they give back to the community that they're rooted in. They, do some type of philanthropy, have some type of job training programs. You know, do something for the children, do something for the elderly, or just something for humanity in general, just something positive. Again, to put out that positive frame of reference. Also, most the proprietors of these businesses that I highlight in the highlight section, they have little to no, experience in that field, little to no education. If they have an extensive education, it pretty much doesn't have anything to do with the business that they business product or service that they're selling. It's just more of a passion project. They want to do something. They got tired of working their 9 to 5s and just want to be their own boss. Stepped out on faith. They had little to no money, little to no education, little to no experience, but they found a way to do it and make it work. And that's why I do the highlight section to put out that positive frame of reference, that if you want to change your situation, you can. Because again, all these negative images that we get bombarded with on a daily basis by the media will have us feeling like, we can't ever get off that hamster wheel. That's their intended purpose, to have us feeling, defeated all the time. So I just want to put out the positive frames of reference that it is possible if you want to do it. These people have done it. So, not to say that it will work for you because, everybody has a different situation, but just putting out the positive frame of reference that it can be done. Maybe their method might not work for you. You might have to discover your own way, but, it can be done. Um, After the highlight section, I go into the spotlight section. In the spotlight section, what I'm doing is spotlighting a prominent figure within our community. It's usually in the entertainment industry. It's usually an actor, actress, an athlete, a recording artist, a comedian, a public figure, just somebody in the eye of the public. Somebody has a large following or fan base. That uses their platform to speak truth to power, to speak on the cause, unapologetically represent us in a positive light. Or if it's not that, they just they pay into the cause because some people aren't, stand up on the soapbox and make speeches and like all of us ain't like that. Some people are just in our community just show and prove. Some people are just a cut the check guy or cut the check girl. Um, but definitely positive. The way they carry and conduct themselves, providing opportunities for their brothers and their sisters, hiring their own, promoting their own, just representing us in a positive light. So those are the types of people that I spotlight, aka give them their roses for all their accomplishments and all that they do, and celebrate all their achievements. So in that section, what I'm trying to do is, impress upon, the listeners how important it is to always speak positively about your brothers and your sisters, even if you don't really kind of like them. Just, create that healthy habit of, building up your brother and building up your sister instead of always constantly trying to tear them down or pick them apart. We get enough of that from people outside of our culture. We don't need to do that to each other. We need to celebrate each other as often as possible. So, having said that, I started the wave of spotlighting because before I put added spotlight section to my podcast, nobody on the internet anywhere was spotlighting anybody. Okay? I started the wave for that. And you can go through my episode logs and do your own, fact checking. But I think you will find that at the end of your fact check, I'm like, damn, he is not lying. He sure did. But, it ain't no big deal. That's kind of what the whole aim is for my podcast, to inspire positivity. So if I start a chain reaction like that of people, giving it up, saluting their brothers and sisters instead of always, denigrating them or trying to tear them down or talk badly about them, then so be it. I'm not really looking for the name recognition, the name dropping, but proof's in the pudding who started it. And they're the podcasts.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
And I am. All right. And then after the spotlight section, I transition into the health and wellness section. In the health and wellness section, what I'm basically doing is giving tips to help us maintain a healthy, active, fit lifestyle. The purpose of me doing that is, to promote total body wellness, which is very important for us. Like I said, we're constantly being bombarded with negativity in the airwaves, that weakens your immune system. We have to be mindful of the things that we take into our body, the type of food we eat, the things we take into our consciousness, our minds and bodies. So, basically what I'm doing is in that section is just teaching you how to maintain the tempo, basically giving you health and wellness tips. If it's food, the health benefits of fruits, vegetable, plant, herb, extract. If it's physical exercise, some type of physical exercise, mental stuff like, getting counseling, mindful breathing, mindfulness, meditation, metaphysical stuff. Just basically just to, you know, stay healthy, active, and fit, and maintain a healthy, active, fit lifestyle, and basically just armor up because they're, the powers that be, they're doing all kinds of vile things to this planet, and these vile things, wreak havoc on our people. It's like they're putting stuff in the air, food, water, um, you know, cosmetic stuff you buy every day, your deodorant, your soap, household cleaning products that, either deplete, deteriorate, rearrange, or just completely destroy, our unique genetic makeup, specifically our melanin. So it's up to us to basically try to stay as healthy as possible. Um, just take care of yourself out there. I'm not a herbalist. I'm not a specialist. I'm not a doctor or none of that. I'm just a regular guy, made some positive changes in my life, and I'm just putting the knowledge out there. If you get something out of it, great. If you don't, then hey, just chalk it up to everything ain't for everybody. All right. So after the health and wellness tip, I go into my speaking point of the day, and my speaking point of the day is just commentary on current events, something going on specifically in our community, or if it's world events, how does that pertain to our community? I deliver the commentary from our perspective, because history has taught us nothing but, if you don't tell your story will be told for you. So that's what I'm doing in the, speaking point of the day. I'm telling our story from our perspectives on our own terms and conditions. Um, yeah. So after the speaking point of the day, I round things out with my final thought of the day. And my final thought of the day is just usually something very profound, a gem, a pearl of wisdom, something that will incite critical thinking, something that would just, stay with you and resonate you for the rest of the day, something you can just be like, I agree with that, or I never thought about it like that, just something deep like that, just something deep. My final thought of the day is just something deep, a deep thought. And then after that, I just close out, plug whatever I got going on, and urge you to support the platform. And then boom, Narrative Podcast, and that's the full broadcast day of the Narrative Podcast. That's all my content. I just gave you the format, and now I'm gonna dive into some commentary about a couple things and leave you to enjoy your auspicious Wednesday evening. All right, so a whole lot of things have been going on in the media, and it's just a super duper lot right now. But I want to address a couple things, and just one thing, and then it's the one thing I'm gonna tie it into a whole lot of things, but just get that out the way. It took me so long to address this because I was still trying to wait for the story to unfold in its entirety. I've been checking out several different sources, and I like to try to do my research before I just get to talking, speaking on things, because I think a lot of people that do podcasts and that do journalism, they kind of don't do that. They just hop right on, like right when the story first happens, and just say whatever they got to say. And, they're not thinking about how that's going to affect their people's family, people's relatives. Um, got to give, people time to grieve in situations, and just give people time to process things. And that's what I try to do on my platform. I don't just try to jump out the window and catch the wave like when it's trending. Now that's what they say. The key to podcasting is to jump on trending news and trending topics, but sometimes you just have to use discernment and just judge for yourself. And like I want to let the story play out before I put my little 2 cents on it. Um, but yeah, it's kind of old news now. But the untimely death of Takeoff, um, third member of the Migos, really tragic. Really tragic. Still kind of in the dark about the story in general. So it's a whole lot to unpack. I'm gonna try to keep it brief as possible, and I'm gonna tie in my commentary back to us and back to some things we need to start doing and stop doing as a community. And I'm gonna just put it in perspective because I believe a lot of these podcasters is taken out of context and just saying what they say. Like everybody got their own truth, but the only truth that trumps your own truth is just the truth. So I try to just tell the truth on my platform. All right, so Takeoff got shot to death. Um, he was in the crowd at a party. Some shots rang out, and I'm just, I'm giving you the streamlined version. Like everybody been watching the YouTubes, and everybody been going on different people's platforms. You should have, all the details by now. I'm skimming over the details because I want to make my point as plain as possible. Um, you know, he got shot. And he died. And this is something that kind of happens too often to, people in hip hop, rappers. It always seems like a rapper is getting shot to death. And the trend it's just been like these young new rappers, like just barely even a year in the game, shot and killed. And it's always, they was flashing their jewelry. They had a lot of jewelry on. They was on Instagram showing their jewelry, counting their money, and it was a stick up gone bad type, narrative surrounding their death. Or it was, an old social media beef. Like he was going back and forth with somebody online, and the person that they was going back and forth online locked onto their, location and came back and saw him. And, the rapper no longer here. But that's neither here nor there. My opinion with the younger rappers that's barely a year in the game is, I think the powers that be has sat down and thought, it's cheaper just to take an insurance policy out on one of these rappers and, collect the insurance policy rather than, have them signed to the label, have to renegotiate the contract every other year or however long they're going to be on the label. Expense account for them, their entourage, court fines, going back and forth to court. Like, let's just take the insurance policy out and let somebody go collect the insurance money. Not entirely sure that's the case with offsets or takeoff, excuse me, because it's seeming like it was an accidental death. Accidents do happen. So having said that, if the bullet wasn't meant for him, it shouldn't happen. Even if the bullets hit its intended target, it shouldn't happen. We as a people should not be running around killing each other. We shouldn't. All what we got going on in front of us, the last thing we need to do is be fighting amongst ourselves, killing ourselves. Having said that, I know at some point we do have to take responsibility for the things that go on in our community and, own up to that and try to fix that. But however, I'm really, really getting tired of people saying, well, we got to do better. We do have to do better. But in our attempt to do better, never ever lose sight on why we do it in the first place anyway. Why do we do it in the first place anyway? Because it's been ingrained in us. It's been programmed and conditioned in us to see us not as us. And what do I mean by that? We see each other the way the oppressor sees us. In the music, what's it always say? I'm gonna kill me a what? I'm gonna kill me a nigga. I'm gonna rob a nigga. I'm gonna shoot a nigga. I'm gonna kill a nigga. The debauchery, the way we talk about our women's anatomy, believing we don't have to treat our women or just women in general with respect or decorum. This is something that got taught to us. It's a learned behavior. We was not doing that in our society before we got introduced to other people. We wasn't. That's not who we were. This is something that we've been turned into. And we've been turned into that to, fuel this economy. We got turned into that to, get these prison systems built. We got turned into that, for cheap labor. We got turned into that for population control. It's too many people will just program and condition this specific class of people just to off themselves. So don't ever get it twisted when you see. Don't take the bait when you see black on black crime. Crime is crime. Don't ever get on your platform and say we kill each other in disproportionate numbers. We kill each other more than any other race on the planet. Because the fact is we don't. We don't. I know it seems like that. I get really misty-eyed and I damn, what's wrong with us? Why we keep doing this? And I'm tired of seeing mothers grieving their children. I'm tired of, our youth being buried. But the truth is, We don't do it in record numbers. It's just reported in record numbers. That's the way they set the media up. When a white man kills a white man, it's just a man killed a man. You understand? When one of us kills each other, it's black man, black 32-year-old, whatever your name is, killed 27 black, blackity black, 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 black. You know, that's what that is. It's programming and conditioning at its finest. You know, it's just something that seizes up from the depths of our soul, like makes that anger bubble to the surface. To be intolerant of my brother and be intolerant of my sister, because, you know, I ain't lying. Because if somebody turns up on you, like, you know, raises their voice at you, and they just happen to be black too, first thing you do in your mind, like, oh, this nigga got me effed up. Who this nigga talking to? Fuck that nigga. You know? This is programming and conditioning. I think I went into programming and conditioning on my very first podcast, broadcast, I think way back in episode 1. Talked for an hour straight. But we've been programmed and conditioned in the literature. We've been programmed and conditioned into the music, the hip hop, the rap. It's all in there. Been programmed and conditioned into literature, the books we read. You know, American classics. It's in there. The violence of how we talk to each other and treat each other is in written form. We don't ever really have too much content where we're celebrating each other's achievements, where we're trying to help one another, where we're trying to speak kindly of one another. We just get constantly bombarded with negativity, and it seeps into your subconscious, and you think on a subconscious level, I'm supposed to talk to, you know, my brother like that. I'm supposed to talk to my sister like that. I'm supposed to have, you know, animosity and just a disdain, you know, for my own kind. We're looking at each other the way the oppressor looks at us. We've been programmed and conditioned to view one another like that. That's why we're having all this killing in our community. It's not an accident. This is the agenda. This is, you know, their narrative. That's why they wanted to set up like that. This is, see, you know, I told you so they can sit back. See, I told you if we gave them money. See, I told you how they act. So again, while we do need to take responsibility as a community for our actions when it's ourselves, and get passionate, just as passionate when it's one of our own taking one of our own, as we do when, you know, when it's a dominant society member taking one of our own. We do need to have marches and demonstrations and all that too when one of our own kills one of our own, because, you know, it's enough, man. It's really enough. Like, enough's enough. Having said that, some of the hip hop community, rappers, you can't have one foot out in it and think, you know, nothing's going to happen. You can no longer live like you were living after you become an artist. You can't continue to run in the same circles and be around the same people after you become an artist, because you're no longer that. You came up out that situation to get away from that element so you can go and help your brothers and sisters that's still in that element. You can't go back in the mud and roll around with the pigs after you done came up out of it. You got a gift, an opportunity to get up out of that. Use it. Don't go right back to it. And that's not to say you need to move out of our neighborhood, because they also weave a false narrative about that. Like most rappers die living in their own city, in their own state, uh, which is kind of not true again. You know, it's a flipped narrative. Just for example, Roxanne Shante, same borough in New York City, and ain't nobody messed with her or did nothing to her. She's still alive. She live in the same neighborhood she did when she was a teenager. She's still alive. Ain't nobody robbed her, raped her, or did nothing to her. She a female, you know? So you don't necessarily have to, leave the hood for good to live a good life. You just have to, watch your surroundings and, you know, not put yourself in the predicament of where something like that could possibly happen. And, once again, I know accidents happen. Like accidents happen. Black, white, Asian, Spanish, accidents happen. But we don't ever get the, opportunity for something to be accidental. Like, if you're a gun owner, the gun can go off and shoot you, like it just a hair trigger, and get a flesh wound, or just a fatal wound, an accident. We don't get the accident pass. It's them niggas was killing them niggas. They had the intention to kill that nigga all the time. So in his situation, I do believe they was intending to kill somebody, but not him. So, like I said, also, we don't need to be killing anybody. But especially us. We don't need to be killing our own. We got enough people trying to kill us. We got all these little groups and subgroups, locked and loaded, trying to kill us. And the last thing we need to do is be killing each other. So, like, it ain't never that deep. It's never that deep. And that's why I want to cut it on there. RIP, take off. Condolences to, friends, family, anybody that worked with him, anybody knows him. Sorry for your loss. But, yeah, unfortunate situation. Unfortunate, accidental situation. Now, last thing I want to talk about before I dive on up out of here is forgiveness. So, for the last few episodes, I've been on that Kyrie Irving kick about forgiveness. Firm believer, after you say you're sorry, it's done and over with. You accept the apology or you don't. In our community, when somebody hurts us and they apologize for hurting us, we don't accept the apology. I'll give some examples. Stacey Dash. We said they can have you. She ain't coming back to the cookout. She did all that. She said all those anti-inflammatory things. She done laid up with that white man, and she done bleached her skin white, and now she want to come back and suck up and be all up in our, nah. Why not? She said she was sorry. Why ain't she worthy of forgiveness? Who else? Raven Simone. She said some stuff a while ago. Why ain't her apology good enough? None of us are perfect. And all these people in the so-called conscious community ain't perfect either. If you get to pulling up, their past. And it's, they traded on our race and they went over there colluding with them. But, okay, they did go over there and collude with them. They did say some stuff about us. But if they say sorry, who are we to shun them and, not embrace our brother and not embrace our sister for losing their way? Everybody falls short of the grace. Everybody loses their way. Who's anybody to not forgive them for losing their way? If they say sorry, they acknowledge they made a mistake. Another person we don't like forgiving, Candace Owens. We don't like forgiving Candace Owens for the anti-inflammatory things that she be saying about our people, especially men, especially the original man. And she's married to a Caucasian man. That makes it really, really hard to forgive her for the things that she says about us. It makes it really hard to forgive her for the things she said about the Floyd family, George Floyd situation. But, she's asked for forgiveness and to know their stories, to know what they're coming from. There's many anti-inflammatory things. She's also said some things that's been spot on, especially in concern to the abortion clinics. She's been very spot on with that. There's been a number of instances where she's been spot on with our government and how they do us and how they treat us, and unearthing, the truth makes you angry, knowing, what or the knowledge. So some of her stuff, she's spot on, and other stuff is like she makes you angry listening to her, because it's like, she's so worshiping dominant society. She's throwing us under the bus. But again, if somebody says they're sorry, forgive them. People lose their way. Don't be so self-righteous that you become arrogant. Because a lot of people in the conscious community, they like to throw around their knowledge like a weapon. They get so cocky with it and just I'm so smart, I know all of this, and I would never, and I'm super righteous sister, I'm super righteous brother, and at the end of the day, your boo-boo stink too. At the end of the day, somebody could pull your card and get the pulling up receipts and show, something contrary to, what you're kicking, the knowledge that you're kicking about this liberation thing. But point being, forgive them. If they say sorry, forgive them. Now Kanye, or Ye as he likes to be called, he's on this truth telling kick. It's he's the super woke guy, but nobody wanted to forgive him when he said slavery was a choice, when he went and sat down on a grown man's lap, sat on Trump's lap and hugged Trump, and what the MAGA hats and all that. We didn't want to forgive him, but now we're forgiving him. Because he's, talking with a little more clarity, and people is, thinking that's the old Ye coming back. But I got my reservations about that still, but I still ride with the brother as long as he's telling the truth and standing on the truth. You know what I mean? I don't feel he should have to apologize for what he said still. But my point being is that we don't forgive each other. Like we are so critical of one another. We're even more critical of one another than the dominant society is. Like we got, that critical where we view each other from them. And we need to purge ourselves of that bad habit of being overcritical of one another. Like we all make mistakes. Everybody falls short of the glory. Nobody's perfect. And then it's going to take all of us working together to win this. So, to paraphrase something Lupe Fiasco said right during the Ye's comment about the slavery was a choice. He said something to the effect of, we just going to throw the whole nigga away. That's what we do in our community. We just throw the whole nigga away. Like no more redeeming qualities, just F them. They can have them. They love them so much, let them be with them. They can do whatever they want to them. So, like, for all the people that say they believe in God or the higher power or the ancestors, what if God, the higher power, the ancestors, or whatever you called yourself believing in, didn't forgive you? So who are you not to forgive somebody if they say they're sorry? So that's all I got for tonight. Thanks for listening. I didn't really mean to go on that long, but I did. I'm bringing this thing to a close. Thanks for listening. This has been a live edition of the Narrative Podcast. Please continue to support my channel by downloading this episode when I share it back to all my other platforms. I also got a personal poetry blog called Halsey's Poetry Corner. Please support me in that. It's on blogger.com, powered by Adam. The address is www.mrhalseysblogs.com. It's called Halsey's Poetry Corner. And the way you support that is by going to the link and sharing one or all my poems to your favorite platform. Share it Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WordPress, whatever. Go share it now. They're very creative, very insightful, guaranteed to resonate with you, guaranteed to connect to, something from it. And go do that now, hit that up. And, just share my poems to all your platforms. And then speaking of poems, I have written a book of poetry called The Black Card. It's now available on Poetizer, so you go to their store. I believe it's like a little under $30. It's $25, like $90 or something. Go pick a copy of that up. Poems are very excellent, very good. It's going to be a good, like, coffee table type book. You'll love it. Trust me. It's just a 30-pager, so this is my first book ever. I'm a novice, but I do write poems. I do the written word and the spoken word. So I'm really kind of super nice with it. Good talent. Not to toot my horn, but toot. Go buy that. I got all kinds of projects coming in the very near future, and I will be sharing with you as they unveil. Like when I get closer to the completion level, when I'm at link in the bio status, I'll be sharing all my other projects with you. I am going to be making the transition from audio to video, working on some video content. So keep on supporting your boy, Halsey Allen, and the Narrative Podcast. Yeah, man, it's Wednesday. We did it. We over the hump. Weekend, here we go. Speaking of weekend, join me this weekend for a full edition of the Narrative Podcast. That'll do it for this evening. Thanks for listening, everybody. Halsey Allen, the Narrative Podcast, signing off.
Set your place on fire. Put a little bit of shit, put a little bit of shit, put a get a little bit of gasoline. Put a little bit of shit, put a listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
And it's like that.